Okay, so the second question, we have done with the first question. So today we are going to go with the second question. And it says the library of Vidyalok Vidyalaya has many books. Some books have multiple copies. Students can borrow 2 books at a time for 2 weeks, right? Write down items of data the library should store about a book, right? So if they use some particular book or a file or a digital file, or in our terms, if they are maintaining a database, they are asking what kind of a things that they are going to store regarding a book. So like usually the book will be having an ISBN number, right? And book will be having a title and an author, right? And if they are like lending the books for students, so the lending dates and the returning dates can be taken, right, as the latter part, right? More oftenly, it's the ISBN number, title, and the author, right? So yeah, other than that, they have told title of the books, edition, name of the author, name of the publisher, number of books available, the copies, right, price of the book, year of publication, and ISBN number. Yeah, any 2 of these things, like they were asking 2 items. Yeah, so any 2 items from this list, and if you got any alternative answers, just let me know, right? So any 2 of these will give you 2 marks. Okay, so the next question, what they're asking is write 3 essential items of data recorded by the library staff when students borrows a book, right? Then they have to write down the things, right, as they mentioned here, right? So they are writing it down, right, or recording it. So what are the things? Who has borrowed this book have to be written, and the particular index number of that student to recognize which student who has been borrowed the book, and the borrowed date, because they have to see whether this particular student is returning the book within 2 weeks, right? So they will specifically have the borrowed date and the due date, right? That means due to return, right? So likewise, name of the member, membership number, national identity card number, borrowed date, ISBN, as well as you can say returning date, right? You can take. So any 3 of these things, and if you got any alternative answers, just let me know, right? So any 3 of these will give you 3 marks. Name of the book, yes, can be with the title of the book, or the name of the book, Duragi, yes, can be taken. Okay, so moving forward, and remember people, now name of the book is a possible entry, but it's not going to store all the details about that book, right? They are not writing about the edition, name of the authors, and all these things when you are borrowing the book, right? Sometimes they just go with only the ISBN or the certain identification of the book, and then they may go with the name as well, and the name of the member or the membership number, kind of things will be there, right? So it gives you 3 marks. So first is having 2 marks, next is having 3 marks, right? So in the third point, it is asking explain the difference between data and information using the library system. Provide one example for each. So data and information. So we have data is raw facts, right? Or unorganized facts. Simply information, you can say when data is processed meaningfully, we can have an information, some idea which is similar to that, right? So here it says information is processed data in a meaningful way to the user. And look at the examples. So for data, they have taken the name of a book, name of the author, those kind of things. And the information, like it's kind of a thing which is given by analyzing this, right? So like how many students borrow the books in a day, right? Which type of books are being borrowed most frequently, right? And who has borrowed the maximum amount of books, or like who has borrowed many times in a month, right? Or the maximum times, who has the highest number of borrowings, right? And as well as how they can say how the returning rate is also. Yes, Dulagi, you can say data as the ISBN code, information, scanning the ISBN code. ISBN. Oh yeah, yes, can be taken. Yeah. So you should have the explanation plus examples, right? So for each and every part, for the explanation 0.5, for giving an example 0.5. So likewise, you can take 2 marks. Right, so this has 2 marks. This has 2 and this has 3. The final point, assuming that the library system is manual at present, provide 2 advantages of using for computerizing. Advantage of using ICT for computerizing the library. Yeah, so if it is in manual, what we can do, we can store, like what? We can store many details of the books in a very small physical area, which is in the hard disk, right? You can analyze the data very quickly. You can find a book very quickly, right? Himidiri, this is regarding the earlier question, right? Availability or unavailability of a book after running a query. Yeah, can be taken, right? Can be taken, no worries. Right, so the fourth one, the librarian can easily communicate with the students. Provide 2 advantages. The library system is manual at present, provide 2. Yeah, it's kind of a remote advantage, Dulagi, but you can take it, right? So much better things are going to be these kind of things. Can create and maintain an online database for the library, more efficient and effective for all type of users, stakeholders, such as library staff, and all these things, right? So less error prone, more reliable, take less physical space, easy to take management, summary information efficiently, can keep the backup copies of the system in a safe place to improve security. Right, so any, how much they were asking? Assuming that the library system is manual at present, provide 2 advantages. Yeah, So if you have written 2 advantages, you can take 3 marks for that, 1.5 for each. But you should have the explanation as well as what kind of things, right, that you are using for this task. Right, so 3 marks for that. So altogether it will give you 10 marks. So see how many you got out of 10. Okay, so moving to the third question, the Excel one. Right, it says the sample spreadsheet in figure 5 shows the marks obtained by 4 students, Amila, Kapila, Fatima, and Raj, for 4 subjects: commerce, English, mathematics, and science. I think we have discussed this earlier as well, like since we were doing the model paper, but I'll do it again anyway. Write the required formula in cell C8. Yeah, it says a sample spreadsheet in figure 5 shows the marks obtained by the 4 students, this Amila, Kapila, Fatima, and all these things, right? So for 4 subjects. So the first question that they're asking is write the required formula in cell C8 without using functions. Now, this is important, without using functions to calculate the total marks obtained by the Amila, right? So total marks obtained by the Amila is asking to written over here. So it should say equals no functions are being used. So 85 belongs to C4. So C4 plus C5 plus right, then C5, C6 plus C7. Right, so this is going to be your answer. Nothing better than this. Right, so the yeah, it's going to give you 2 marks. If the formula entered in cell C8 to calculate Amila's total, mark is copied to calculate Kapila's total in D8, how would the formula appears in D8? So it's easy. This is being copied to this. So it's reference copy, like the not a relative one, it's an absolute one kind of a thing. I'm sorry, it should be a reference one, not the absolute kind of a thing. So we are going to copy the formula to your right hand side in the same row. So when you're copying the things in the same row to the right hand side, it's the letter that is going to change. The numbers are not going to change. So it's going to be equals right. So it's going to be D4 plus D5 plus D6 plus D7. Okay. So the third one says write the formula to calculate the total marks received by Raj using function sum, cell F8. F8 means right over here. So if I ask to create that thing using the sum function, you have to say equal. Sum will be there, brackets will be open. So it is from F4 colon F7. right? So that's going to be the answer for this third one. So 2 marks for every part that we have told so far. Okay, so the fourth one says using the function available in spreadsheet software to calculate the average. Write the formula to calculate the average marks of the student for commerce in cell G4. Yeah, before I go to that, the above sum function can be written like this as well. Sum F4 colon, F5 colon, F6 comma, F7, right? Okay, so they're asking to calculate the average of the students for commerce, right? So average mark of students for commerce. So commerce is right over here. Right, so how we are going to take it? We have to say equals average equals average. Then you have to give the correct range, right? So it is asking commerce as I give. So like C4 colon F4. Right, so if you got it correctly, you got 2 marks. The final part is asking the class teacher want to compare the performance of 2 students in 4 subjects in a single chart. Provide 2 appropriate chart types available in spreadsheet software for this purpose. So you can have column charts. Right, so it's going to be column chart and bar chart, and we can say scatter diagram as well. I'll write it over here, scattered chart. Right, so if you got 2 things correctly, you got 2 marks. That's the maximum that you are going to give. Right, so see how many you got out of 10. All right, who got it all correct? Anyone who got that all correct? Okay, 9 out of 10. Okay, Himitri, that's good. 9 out of 10. Okay, right. Right, great, Vinod. And great, Dulagi. Okay. So the fourth question. Yeah, people give me just a second. Yeah, Minol, is it hard on 215 to 220, 2020? I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, comparatively, it's too easy. Yes, I agree. All right, moving to the fourth question. Now, it says in a cycle race, the participant cyclists are required to qualify from preliminary stage into final stage by passing a medical test and then by completing 10 rounds in a circular track. Those who do not pass the medical test will not be allowed to attempt 10 rounds in the track. Those who complete 10 rounds in the track are eligible to participate in the final stage. Others who get tired and are unable to complete 10 rounds in the track are eliminated from the contest. Write down respectively the appropriate terms derived from the above scenario to fill the blanks in A, B, C, D, E, and F. So it's very easy stuff, right? So you start and you have to take the things from the scenario. You start, pass medical test. So it has two paths. One is leading to the eliminated from the contest. Other one is leading to number of rounds. So definitely number of rounds are given if the medical test is passed. So B is going to be yes. A is going to be no. Or even true and false can be taken. Right, the number of rounds equals 0 is there. Continue to the next round. If it is yes, rounds will be counted. If it is no, it's going to eliminate the contest. And in here, the number of rounds will be counted. When one is gone, that will be counted as 1. The next one is gone, it will be increased into 2. So this, in here, this formula, that is where you can find C. So that formula is going to be rounds equals rounds plus 1. So this is going to be the C. Then the condition is asking a question. Number of rounds less than some particular one. Right, so we know now there are 10 rounds to be ran, right? So when a one round is like number of rounds is updated to 1, so one round is completed. Likewise, when now that means when one round is done, here it will become 1, right? And when the 2 round is done, this will become 2. Likewise, when the 10 rounds are done, this will become 10. So then after we don't need to go to the next, continue to the next round. That means this iteration should fall after the number of rounds is equals to 10. All right. So that means this D is going to be 10. Right? And this E, the question is asking number of rounds less than 10. So according to that, this is going to be yes or true. And definitely the F is going to be no or false? N. Minul, hold on. Let me check the. Yeah, they have said N, but it's better you go with yes, no, or true and false, right? Much better, right? So if you answers on this manner, you can have yeah, 1 mark for each, I guess. Hold on a minute. I need to see the second part. Yeah, yeah. For one particular fact, you'll be given 1 mark. So if all the 6 are correct, so 6 marks will be given. All right. Moving forward. The second question is, in the second part, in the fourth question, the flow chart in figure 7 represent the algorithm for reading the student marks in a class and displaying the average, maximum, and minimum. Right? Pseudocode for the logic in the flow chart for the above scenario. So it's easy. When you have the flow chart, it is easy for you to write the pseudocode. The only place where you have to be careful is when you are finding a condition. So you have to figure out whether it is a selection or an iteration, right? So it has start. So we say begin. Then input number of students as n, right? So you can write it in the very same way. Write it as it is, people. Right? So no one can reduce marks for that. So here, it's better you initialize things one after the other. Right? Then the question is asked, is I less than n? And then how many things we got? We got a condition over here, as well as condition over here, as well as condition over here. Right? So from these 3 conditions, how we are going to figure out what are the whether a particular condition is an iterative or a selection. Now, for that, you have to find these kind of patterns. Now, you can clearly see this iteration is happening due to this, right? So the problem is what causes the iteration? So the condition which caused the iteration is the condition which helps to exit the iteration. ඔන්නෝක golden rule එකක් මතක තියාගන්න. iterate වෙන්න උදව් කරන condition එකම තමයි iteration එකෙන් එළියට යන්න උදව් කරන්නේ. Now who is helping you to get away or like exit from the iteration? Is it the first one or the second one or the third one? Yes, people? Yes, Minul, as you say, it is correct. So others, which condition helps you to get away or like exit from the iteration? Yeah. Yes, Dulagi, that's correct. So that's going to be your iteration condition. Now here in the flow chart, if you look closely, this is the one which helps you to get away from the iteration. So then that's going to be our iteration condition. So that means in this iteration, we can find two more conditions. Is m less than min and is m larger than max? And there you can see, here they are like dividing into parts. And again, combining at a common point or like connecting to the common road again. Here is the same way. Dividing and combining a common road. So if you have this nature, this indicates like if the condition divides you into two paths and will be gathered again on a common point or a common path, we consider them as the if conditions, right? So due to that, we can handle this using a while, and you can handle these two using if, right? So how we are going to go? So we are going to say while, and this is iterating on the yes path. So we can take this condition as it is, while I less than n. Then you are asking for a student mark, right? So then you can say, you can write this, input student mark m. Then I equals I plus 1 happens, sum equals sum plus n will be there. We are still in the iteration. Now we are facing to the what? To the if condition. So the first if condition, if m less than min, then this keyword is sufficient, essential. Then I'm going to say min equals to x. That means x is assigned to min. And then you can see there is nothing on the no part of that condition. No, so there is no any else here. So you can easily say end if. So after that, you will be find another condition. So you have to come up with another if condition. Right. So there you can say m larger than max. Right. So if it works, it's a m is going to equals to max. Here I have done some mistake. This should be m. And again, it doesn't have anything in the no path. So end if happens from here. So then iteration continues. So then it's going to be the end while part. Right. So after the end while, there are some things to be written. You have to say average, this one. Equals sum divided by n. Then you have to say print average, max, and min. Right, so after that, we have to say end. Right, it's kind of a little big. I'll show you it from the marking scheme as well. So if you got it correctly, then you can take 4 marks for this. If you got any mistakes, please, it's time for you to make them correct. Yes, Saran, if you got the chance, I'm going to the 2011 as well. Himidiri, no doer. Now here it won't be a possible one doer. End if, like, if you are going to write both the end ifs at the end, it should be something nested doer, right? Now, if your condition, if condition had the structure something like this, ඔන්න ඔය වගේ structure එකක් තිබ්බනම් පුතා, then of course you can, right? But in the question, it's not going to be like that doer. It clearly shows you one particular, if one particular condition is done, then the next condition is starting, right? මෙතන තියෙන්නේ මෙයා මෙතනින් connect වෙලා මෙතනින් ඉවර වෙනවා. ඒතර මේ කෑල්ල තනියෙන් ඉන්නේ. Then this is going to consider. Did you get the point, doer? Right, great. Okay, so if you got this clearly, you can have the marks, and I'll show you the marking scheme for any mistakes to be corrected. Right, I'll give you a minute, then I'm going to the next question. Okay, so moving to the next question. Question number 5. So it says, imagine that your parent have provided you with a new desktop computer. The parents have also decided to provide internet connectivity to your computer, right? So briefly describe 2 potential threats that you may face when your computer is connected to the internet. I will go with the marking scheme. So you can say unauthorized access of data in the computer, or in other words, hacking, infecting the computer with malware like virus, Trojan horse. That is another thing, right? So you can take these kind of answers, right? If you got any alternatives, just let me know. So if you have written 2 reasons, then of course you are going to have 2 marks. Second part says, describe two methods of protecting the computer from such threats, right? So we can have what? An antivirus software, right? And always, as well as we can install a firewall, as well as we can keep updating the operating system. So it will give all the compatibilities and all the security options, right? And like having an antivirus software is not that sufficient. Here in the marking scheme says, installing latest antivirus program, updating and maintaining antivirus software, right? So that should happen, obviously. Having an antivirus software without being updated will not give you the total security to your system, right? So they are asking how many? Two methods, right? Again, 2 marks, right? So you can have any one of these. Here it says what this is all about. Right. So the next question, briefly explain 3 factors you would consider in order to avoid health issues that may arise in using this computer. Yeah, so like the health issues, like you can have CVS, computer vision syndrome, you can have musculoskeletal problems, you can have what RSI, repetitive stress injuries, right? Then you can have carpal tunnel syndromes, which affects on your wrists, right? And you can have back pains, you can have neck pains, right? So all these things, like most of the things are there because of the incorrect posture, right? So it's better you give the answers to have that using and correct posture. So in the marking scheme, it says using correct sitting position to avoid backaches, using the correct screen position to avoid neck aches, take short breaks without using computer for long time period, avoid use of loud sounds using speakers, headphones over a long period of time, right? So you can take those things. Yeah, Binadi, hold on. Yeah, you can put up. It is there as well. Here they are talking about the antivirus software, no problem. Right. So for the third part, how many they were asking? 3 factors. So I'm going to give you 3 marks for the third part, right? So any 3, I have mentioned things in here, right? So, or any parallel answer, but don't just go and blindly put a correction mark, right? Because you need to know. So the last part says, imagine that your friend gave you a copy of computer gaming software which has been brought for his personal use. Do you think it is suitable to install and use the software in your new computer? Explain. Yeah, explain the reason for your answer, right? So we can say, now they are asking whether they are agreeing or not. They say no, right? So the question is asking, do you think it is suitable to install and use the software in your new computer? The answer is no. The reason we can tell, right? So there is no privacy and it is illegal because if it is a licensed software, you have to pay and take, right? So that kind of a thing can be considered as an illegal transaction, right? So let's see whether we have to brief it in much manner. Yeah, so when you are describing, you have to say the friend has bought the software for his personal use. So it may be only for the friend's computer, and it cannot be, or like it is illegal if we use a copy of those things, like in a way we want to get the help with, right? Or like even though we have fond of that thing, right? It is still illegal, right? So likewise, you can do the explanation. Seran, no, for this particular one, yes is not an acceptable answer, Seran. It is an ethical issue, no? So the answer must be no, right? And yeah, hold on. Yeah, it says which has been brought for his personal use. That means the friend has purchased it. So definitely he should pay. Like sometimes this can be asked, like he has some particular software, so he is handing that for you and no clue of whether it is been purchased or how he has received that. In that aspect, Saran, we can argue into the both sides, because we can say if the game is proprietary or the licensed software, it is an illegal thing to do. And if we can argue it on the other hand, if the particular software is a free and open source one, then of course nothing will be happening. Right? So anyway, if you explain it correctly, you will be given 3 marks. Right. So remember, people, always it's out of 10 that you are going to have the marks. And the very last question, before I go to that, is it clear so far, people? Can I have the confirmation? Okay, so moving to the 6th one. So it says, explain how the health sector has benefited from information and communication technology using 2 example applications. Like we got many different things, right? We have advanced equipments to do the scannings and to find out what are the illness within a patient, right? As well as we got this computer aided facilities where we can create, or where we can design like innovative things, or like without giving a hard time to a patient. As an example, like if he is having a particular toothache or some kind of a thing, or like any disorders of the teeth, can be replicate easily now by scanning, right? So those kind of reasons. And telemedicine, regarding the telemedicine, you can talk about many different factors, right? So likewise, you can explain it. So here in the marking scheme, so they say the CAT machine, the MRI machines, ECG machines, EEG machines, telemedicines. So they have talked about it. So they only ask for 3 factors, right? 2 examples, right? So you can find any 2 of these things. Right. So the next question is about describe how ICT can be used to teach in a learning process. Your answer should include 2 examples in educational application. Yeah. And there you have computer learning, computer designing for some aspects, right? And LMS, the online services and online exams and the assessments kind of things, keeping those things, right? So those factors can be given, right? So yeah, how was the marks portion? Yeah, 2 examples, so it can have 2 marks. Right, and in the third part it is asking, explain how farming in Sri Lanka could be improved by using ICT. Provide 3 examples. So when it comes to the farming, they are talking into the agriculture and the farming concept, right? So anyway, when it comes to the farming, you have to say like you using RFID kind of technologies, you will be able to recognize where all your breed is, what is the location of them inside the farm. And using these particular different kinds of systems, it will be easier for the user to use without a problem, right? And again, what else you can say? Let's go by the marking scheme. Yeah, and they're talking about cost and affordability as well, right? I'm sorry, computer control farming and the greenhouse, you can say, of course, right? And the weather predictions, right? So it's a combination of agriculture and farming both over here, right? So you can give any particular reason that we have discussed. So they are asking for 3 things. So any 3 of these is going to be. And the very last one, it says explain 3 barriers Sri Lankan general public may face in reaping the benefits of the internet. Yeah, like that's kind of a general knowledge question. So here I'm going to give 3 marks. So explain 3 barriers Sri Lankan general public may face in reaping the benefit. Yeah, so sometimes it depends on the cost, because if you don't have the financial strength to have the internet facility, right? So you will be like getting off from that. Sometimes they don't have enough computer literacy, right? So likewise, as the marking scheme says, cost and affordability, lower level of English language literacy is most of Sri Lankans, lower knowledge of computer usage, negative attitude on internet, low infrastructure facilities. Yeah. Right. So again, they are asking 3 parts. So any 3 of these will give you the marks for that. And be careful when you are like choosing this explaining things, right? Because it can easily lead you to reduce some marks. Okay, so the 2010 is done. Let me know how the total marks. And people, when you are adding the answers, you just take the first question's answer, right? So the so the first question must have the answers. It is taking 20 marks, and from the rest you have to choose 4 only, right? වැඩිපුර කරලා තියෙන කට්ටිය ඒවත් එකතු කරලා 100න් කීයද කියලා කියන්න එපා. right? And let me know your final mark regarding the 2010, right? And meanwhile, I'll show you the 2011 marking scheme for the MCQs. You may mark it and let me know the incorrect questions, right? Incorrect question numbers, actually. Okay, Ms. Handa, it's a very good mark. Okay, it seems I don't have the marking scheme of 2011. Hold on, people, I will take a photo and upload it to you. Bisandi, that's a good mark. You know, that's a very good mark. All right. Okay, I can see some very good marks. Yes. Very good, everyone. I'm very happy to see. Right. Yes. Yes. Mesanda, Bisandi, Minul, Onetra, Himidiri. That's great. Dulagi, Saran. That's great. That's great. Keep it up, people. So let me take you the 2011 marking scheme. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'll stop the share for a moment. Right. So this is the 2011 marking scheme. So let me know the incorrect questions. Right. I hope everyone has done with 2011. Anyone who has not done this yet? Okay, so quickly mark it and send me the answers. I'm sorry, the incorrect answers, right? Like the incorrect question numbers. Okay, Bisanti, that's good. That's great. Let me have the incorrect question numbers go. All right, Bisanti, I received yours. It's 2, 3, 8, 22, 23, 27, 39. All right, Mesanta, I received yours as well. 15, 24, 25, 28. Okay. Right, immediately I receive yours. 28, 31, 35, and 39. Okay. Others, hurry up. Yes, others. Oh, Dulagi, I receive yours. 8, 17, 30. Okay. Onetra, I receive yours as well. Seran, I receive yours as well. So 24, 28, and 37. And Onetra, 13, 24, 39. 13, 24, 39. And Dulagi 18, 17, 30. 8, 17, 30. 8, 17, 30. Okay. Yes. So I received 6 of yours. How many in the room? Now it's only 8. Earlier it was 10. But anyway, there are 2 more to go. Olang and Menul, I guess. Oh, yeah, Olang and Minul. Minul, yeah, 36, 22, and 11. Okay. Olang, is it only 31? Okay. Olang, you can type it together. And 22 and 28. Okay. Is that all, Olanga? Right, great. So let's start discussing this, people. So hold on. Let me clear the canvas. 211. There you go. Yes, Saran. Yes, HR tag. Horizontal line. It's not. Hold on. I need to revise that. As I remember, it was there, but I'll see. But I'll recheck. Okay. Here we go. So the second one. So it says a student prepares a report and saves into a permanent storage device one inside the computer. He then copies the report to a portable storage device, which is device 2, to be given to a friend. Which of the following is most appropriate to represent device 1? Oh, that's nice. You found a new dress? Yeah. That's great. Right, so what they're asking is what are the most appropriate to represent device 1 and device 2? The device 1 is going to be a storage device which is inside the computer, and device 2 is going to be a portable storage device. So main memory is not a permanent storage device. So definitely A is wrong, 3 is wrong. So the hard disk and the compact disk, yeah, the second one is going to be the answer. Since the main memory is here, this one is not going to be a portable device as well, right? So the device 1 is hard disk, device 2 is the compact disk, right? Simple as that. So the third one, a person has taken a photograph using a digital camera. Subsequently, he shows the photograph to one of his friends using the display of the camera. In this scenario, the camera serves as an, so like when you capture something, it takes data into that device. So we can consider it as an input device, right? And in the same time, if you are going to show it, if you're going to see a particular photo from the screen, that means from the screen we are getting an output. So it's going to work as both input and output device. That means the fourth one is going to be the answer. So it acts as input output device. Both the facilities are there, right? So since that, for the third one, it's a fourth answer. Right, in number 8, and people in between, if you need anything to be discussed, just let me know, right? So in the 8th one, it says someone has an electronic presentation of size 10,256 bits. What is the minimum capacity of a portable flash drive that can be used for storing this file? Yeah. Yes, Sushu. Who is okay. So Barnaby is really kid. I'll come and talk to Barnaby. Yeah, give me 10 minutes. I'm going to end with 10 minutes. Huh? So they are asking the minimum capacity that needs to store this thing. So it's 10,256 bits, people. All right. So 10,256 bits, once it is divided by 8, you can have the idea this bits in bytes, right? So it's going to be 1 for 10, 2 is remaining, 22 it's 2, 16 and 6 is remaining. For 65 it's 8, 64 and 1 is remaining. For 16 it's 2, 1282, right? Let me check again. 1, 22 it's 2, 16 and 6 is remaining. For 65 it's 8, 8 into 8 it's 64, 1 is remaining, 16 is 2, it's 1282. So 1282 bytes, right? And you know 1 kilobyte has 1024 bytes, right? So this is something little bit bigger than 1 kilobyte. So definitely 256 bytes are not sufficient. Not 1 kilobyte is sufficient. These two things are sufficient, 1 megabyte and 1 gigabyte, but they are asking minimum capacity. So definitely 1 megabyte is going to be the answer. So for the 8th one, 3rd is the answer, right? Okay, 11th one. A merchant sells a pack of 3 items for 75 rupees. The pack contains a cup and a saucer. So cup is indicated by A, saucer is indicated by B. So it says cup and saucer. The customer can select either a plate or dish. Plate or dish as a 3rd item. Which of the following Boolean expression represents the above scenario? So he must take cup and the sauce.
Let's remove it.
Okay, right? Then as the 3rd item, you should have a 3rd item, but as the 3rd item, either a plate or a dish. So it's going to be A and B. And since he is selecting the 3rd,
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, Susu. So A and B, because both the things are needed. And with that, that defines another and one of these things. That means C or D. And C or D should be within brackets. Right? So it's A and B and C or D, which is going to be the 3rd answer. Right? First one is wrong. This takes N. Second one is wrong. Here it takes O. Third one is wrong. It's wrong for many reasons. Right? So definitely for the 10th, it's a 3rd. I'm sorry, for the 11th, it's a 3rd. Okay, so the 13th, the operating system, they are asking for the correct statements are correct. Fills the gap between the hardware and the user by providing an interface. Yes, of course, that's one of the facilities that is given. Provide internet facilities to the user for communication and access the information. Internet facility is not given by the operating system. It is given by the internet service provider. Manipulate files and folders. Yeah, that is one of its tasks. So it's going to be A and C. Second one is going to be the answer. For 13th, second one is the answer. Right? Then the 15th. Which of the following statement is correct regarding a spreadsheet software? Intersection of a row and a column is known as an absolute address. Absolute is going to be the problem. Right? Let's see. Cell address is represented by the combination of column name and row number. Yeah, now that actually can be taken as a correct one, right? They are asking correct one. So that seems to be correct. Cell entries can only be left aligned in spreadsheets. No, like it can be left aligned. The text types will be left aligned. The value types will be right aligned, right? So only be left aligned. That gives you a problem. Content of a cell cannot refer to another cell. Definitely can. No problem. Right? So you can't say cannot. Because of that, it is wrong. Now, this absolute address, it comes because of the dollar mark, right? So if we say $3, it's an absolute address. So definitely, it's going to be the second one. It seems it's the most justifiable one is going to be the second one for 15.
The Happy Valentine's Day is over, Daddy.
Okay, Susu.
The Happy Valentine's Day is over now.
All right.
Now it's over. It's almost over, Daddy.
All right, Susu. And Saran, about your suggestion.
Happy Valentine's Day. I really want to wear this now.
For the 13th, oh, Suhara, it will break.
You want
For 13, this is 2.
this is two.
In the marking scheme, this is 2, Saran.
2 7.
So keep the limits. In for 13, it's 2, Saran. It's 2. Right? Okay. So yeah, for 15th, it's going to be the second one. And yeah, we'll discuss the 17th and end the session. So we are done up to the then only we need to do the 22nd on the next date. So Hara, don't do it. So 17th says,
Daddy, I want to draw.
I'll give you the chance. Give me a minute. 17th, which of the following statement is correct regarding the tables used in word processing software? 2 or more cells can be merged. Yes, of course, that is correct. So they're asking for the correct one, right? So the first one is going to be the correct one. Second one says it is possible to delete column or a row. Yeah, now that also a correct one. Okay. Then third one says column width can be adjusted while row height cannot be adjusted. No, row height can be adjusted. According to this, this is wrong. A cell cannot be split. No, it can split. Oh, sorry. It's the second one says it is not possible. Not possible to delete a column. Yes. So for that reason, it is wrong. Oh, Suhara. Wait. Yes. So first one is going to be the answer for the 17th one. Right. So we have discussed up to the 17th, and then I have to discuss the 22nd by next week. So people, if you are not done with the second paper of the 2011, finish with it. We can move to the second paper once we are done with the first paper. So by next week, we are going to discuss the rest of the MCQs and going for the second paper, right? Okay, people. So thank you very much. I'm going to end the session from this point for today, right? Thank you very much, people. Have a very nice weekend and I have a very good night.